This video is for all of the people that are Fallout 76 curious. I see you guys in the comments of my videos all of the time, sometimes saying things like, I don't even play Fallout 76, but I like watching your videos. Or, is Fallout 76 fixed yet? A person who is Fallout 76 curious is someone who is a Fallout fan, or maybe even just a Bethesda's games fan. Someone who bought Fallout 76 at launch, but didn't end up playing it very much. Or maybe even never bought it in the first place because of all the negative reviews. A person who is Fallout 76 curious is someone who thinks that they can't enjoy the game alone and can't convince their friends to buy the game. A person who is Fallout 76 curious is someone who wanted to play Fallout 76 but only likes to buy games that are on Steam. I know these people exist because I used to be one of them. This video is for you, and anyone else who is considering jumping into Fallout 76, but never ended up pulling the trigger. With the Wastelanders release fast approaching, now is a great time to assess this game and its upcoming DLC. In this video, I'm going to go over the Fallout 76 Wastelanders panel and new gameplay, along with a few other things we know about Wastelanders, and see if we can find out if Wastelanders will finally fix Fallout 76. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe. I will be making another video just like this one after Fallout 76 Wastelanders releases on April 7th, where I can compare expectations to reality. Let's start with the Fallout 76 panel. One of the first things that they talk about when the panel starts is NPCs.
You get people? Look, they're talking. It's human beings. It's amazing. And the more, the other thing is that we get to go back to the sort of the strengths of Bethesda. Their conversations. We're trying to connect with you with human beings, with emotions. You know, try to give you a real impetus for how you're doing the things you're doing. And conversations like this, you would not believe how long we went back and forth on, because like the initial conversations to try to hook you, to try to make it so that it's like, okay, I get what's going on, and try to orient you. It's, you know.
What?
And I'm sure there's all the quest-specific NPCs that you'll run into and the human characters that you'll run into, but they're kind of littered all over the wasteland at this point, right? You can come across people like Lacey here or others throughout your journey.
There's people randomly all over the place. Wonderful. There's also like some people that we are placed in specific places. Along the main quest, which used to be the main quest, there's the people that can help orient you, try to give you some information as to what's going on there. It took a lot of back and forth for us with the whole team, trying to make sure that we got the density right.
Special check.
Yeah, we would keep playing the game day after day and be like, is this the right pacing for how far apart people are and how often you run into them? Because we don't want it to feel empty, but you don't want it to feel like someone's talking to you from the woods every 10 feet.
So the first thing that we find when leaving the vault is newly added NPCs. This has been said before by me and many others, but there seems to be a consensus that the lack of NPCs in Fallout 76 was its #1 problem. Many people suggesting that they could maybe have ignored the bugs if the game wasn't so boring. And it's boring because the world feels dead. There's no one to talk to, there's no interesting characters to meet, and every quest is instantly spoiled because you know everyone is ultimately dead. Quests like tracking unknowns, I have a whole video on this side quest, make sure to go check that video out. In this quest, you follow sentient ghouls that are being hunted by people who don't understand the difference between sentient and feral ghouls. At the end of the quest, you listen to a holotape that explains how there was a Mexican standoff where all parties were killed or mortally wounded. It seems like in past Fallout games, when you reach the climax of a quest like this, you would be able to decide the fate of all the characters, and in the end, it would be a much more satisfying end. Once again, hopefully new quests like this will be fixed in the Wastelanders update. Also, with the addition of NPCs, the thought of playing alone becomes a much more attractive proposition. You will no longer be plopped down into a mostly empty world, which consists of empty towns, brain-dead enemies, and long walks filled with nothing. The addition of NPCs will hopefully make Fallout 76 feel once again like a classic single-player Fallout game, but this time with the ability to play with your friends if you want to do that. Next, they start talking about the Wayward.
That's correct. In fact, you might be able to see it off to the right over there. Conveniently, right where the Overseer used to have her care package for you, they've set up a bar. And so you get to go in and meet some of the cast of characters over there. And it definitely adds a whole new element if you remember the past, where you would just walk through kind of the empty, let's say it dead, wasteland, and now there's life. People are building, and you get to help them out.
This brings us to Wastelanders' new locations. I have a full video on some of the major new locations coming in Fallout 76 Wastelanders. I go over basically everything we know so far, but new locations by themselves won't save Fallout 76. But some of these new locations act as gathering hubs, and if you've ever played a Fallout game before, you would know how important a central gathering hub is to the game. I pointed this out in my video, but places like Diamond City, Rivet City, and Megaton were such important locations in past Fallout games to not only the story, but the central gameplay loop as well. Locations like this were missing in Fallout 76. The thing that came the closest was White Springs, but the simple implementation of robot vendors made this location feel lackluster, and it never succeeded as a central gathering hub in Fallout 76. This game was calling out for a great central gathering hub, a place where you could go and see other players. It was the one special thing about Fallout 76, but instead of making a great central gathering hub, they ended up making a bunch of small stations around the map, almost as if to keep players from ever seeing each other. Luckily, I believe this will be fixed in Fallout 76 Wastelanders. I highly recommend going and watching my other video on these new locations. Further on, when they start talking about settlers and raiders, they start touching on choice and consequence.
Yeah.
I don't know, Farrah. It sounds like you'd be a raider then.
Actually, what we found in this was just interesting for the PTS is that the majority of people have played the settler side, and I'm a big role player too, so I like playing the white hat, as Farrah puts it. But man, the Raiders quest line's outstanding in this, so you could definitely do both. We can talk a little bit about how you can dive into both as well. You don't have to just choose one or the other for most of the game to the end. Do you want to talk about that a little?
Sure. Pardon. No, you can basically, like, at the very beginning, you do make a choice of, like, who you initially are talking about the main quest. Can't get into spoilers. But it's not, you're not precluded from basically, taking a little from column A and a little call from B. And you can sort of go down both quest lines and to a point to where you have to make a decision. There's a point to where it's like, dude, if I do this, there is no way they're going to work with me on this. So, but you can go far enough that you can really get a sense of who these are. Whoever you wind up siding with, it's not like you can't be friends with the other side. We have a reputation system, and so the side you do choose to help, those guys you're going to get a big, huge bump on your relationship with them. But it doesn't mean you can't go down the other path as well.
This was another really big criticism that people had for Fallout 76. It was that there was no choice or consequence, and in the end, there was no real endgame. They have in some ways fixed the endgame problem in updates after launch with the addition of the legendary purveyor, but the endgame in Fallout 76 now consists of grinding for better and better weapons. There is no real end to Fallout 76. Hopefully the storyline of the Raiders and the Settlers will climax in a fun and satisfying finish to the new story. Finally, at the end of the panel, they start going over some housekeeping things.
Let's see. Well, we have a lot going on. Wastelanders releases April 7th.
It does?
What am I doing here?
Also on Steam on April 7th as well.
Yes, Steam.
We have a lot coming in the couple of weeks, or in the remaining weeks leading up to that. You can check out our community calendar that will be available in our recap article.
Most importantly, to all PC players, is the fact that they once again say that the game is coming to Steam. Like I said at the beginning of the video, this is a great thing for me and many others. I enjoy having all my games in my Steam library. It's just more convenient that way than having a bunch of different launchers. But more important than that, having the game on Steam will undoubtedly bring a whole new audience to the game, and I'm excited for everyone to experience the same fun that I had with Fallout 76, and hopefully more with Fallout 76 Wastelanders. So will this update fix Fallout 76? I think the addition of NPCs will give the game new life, new locations that will hopefully bring the community together even more, along with adding new great characters and stories. In addition to a new story and new endgame with choice and consequences, will really round out Fallout 76 and bring it to a place where maybe we could actually say Fallout 76 is finally fixed. Alright guys, that's all I have on Fallout 76 Wastelanders. I hope everybody enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. It really does help out the channel. Make sure to follow me on Twitter if you haven't already. It's the best place for me to keep in contact with you guys. But anyway, this has been Widgeon TV. Thanks for watching, guys.